significance of MIA bylaws. All professional bodies impose a code of ethics to provide a set of principles and rules that offer guidance to members. Ethics means set of moral principles, values, or acceptable behavior. In Malaysia, it provides standards of conduct in daily professional life and important for gaining public confidence in auditor service.
Section 110 Fundamental Principles. Professional accountant should comply with the following fundamental principles of ethics. First, integrity. Second, objectivity. Third, professional competence and due care. Fourth, confidentiality. And fifth, professional behavior. Auditor in performing professional service may face many threats to compliance with the fundamental principles. Therefore, auditors should be able to identify threats, apply safeguards to eliminate threats, or reduce the acceptable level to make sure the auditor comply with the fundamental principle.
According to Section 111, integrity, this is an obligation on all professional accountants to be straightforward and honest in all their profession and business relationship. A professional accountant must not knowingly be associated with reports that are misstated. For example, contains material that are false and misleading misstatement, and then contain statements or information that are done recklessly. If any left out information required in the reports but not included, it can mislead someone who read the statement. When an accountant becomes aware that he or she linked to the information, they must take a step back from associated from it.
Next, we proceed to the section 112, objectivity. The principle of objectivity is to not allow bias, conflict of interest, or undue influence to others to override the professional judgment. The judgments are supported with evidence. Verifiability exists in the two auditors working independently of each other will come up with a similar conclusion. The absolute independence is impossible. A professional accountant may be exposed to the situation that may impair objectivity. It is impracticable to define and prescribe all such situations. A professional accountant shall not perform a professional service if there is relationship bias or underlying influence the accountant professional judgment with respect to the service.
Section 113, Professional Competence and Due Care. A professional accountant shall comply with the principle of professional competence and due care. It requires an accountant to maintain professional knowledge and skill to ensure that clients receive competent professional services based on current technical, professional standards and relevant legislation. A professional accountant also requires to act diligently in accordance with the applicable technical and professional standards.
Section 114 Confidentiality. A professional accountant should comply with the principle of confidentiality, which requires an accountant to respect the confidentiality information as a result for professional and business relationship. An accountant should maintain the confidentiality informations within the firms or employing organizations. Also maintain the confidentiality informations disclosed by the prospective client or employing organizations. Professional accountants are or might be required to disclose the confidential informations. For example, productions of document or other provisions of evidence in the course of legal proceedings. And the last one is professional accountant should continue comply with the principle of confidentiality even after the end of the relationship between accountant and client or employing organization.
Professional behavior included in section 115. A professional accountant must have this professional behavior. Alright, what is a professional behavior? A professional behavior requires an accountant to follow laws and regulation and avoid any doings that could dishonor the profession. And then the accountant shall not engage with any business occupation or activity that can impairs good reputation of the profession. When undertaking marketing or promotional activities, a professional accountant must not make exaggerated claims, for example, not making them disparaging comparison with the work of another chartered accountant. And then, he or she must not bring the profession to disrepute. For example, accountant must be honorable and have a good taste.
Conceptual framework. It an approach for a professional accountant to identify threats to compliance with the fundamental principles, evaluate the threats identified, and address the threats by eliminating or reducing them to an acceptable level. Types of threats. First, self-interest threat. It is a financial or other interest will inappropriately influence the professional accountant judgment or behavior. For example, threats due to financial interest for shareholders or loan from client. Second, self-review threat. It's a professional accountant will not appropriately evaluate the results of a previous judgment made. For example, threats due to auditing on work, which is tax consultant. Third, advocacy threat. The threat that a professional accountant will promote a client's position to the point that the professional accountant's objectivity is compromised. For example, being a promoter of shares or other securities in an audit client. Fourth, familiarity threat. The threat that due to a long or close relationship with a client. For example, serving the same client for a long period. Lastly, intimidation threat. The threat that a professional accountant will be deterred from acting objectively. For example, by giving physical threats to auditors' family members, relatives, or loved ones.
Safeguards created by the profession, the legislation, and the regulation. There are three types of safeguards. First, firm-wide safeguard. These safeguards using different partners and engagement teams with separate reporting line. The second one is engagement-specific safeguards. These safeguards disclosing to those charged with governance of the client. And the third one is client system and procedures. These safeguards is the clients requires other person than management to approve the appointment of a firm to perform an engagement.
Professional independence is the attitude of mind characterized by integrity and objective approach to professional work. An auditor should be seen to be free from any conflict of interest. This means that an auditor must be independent. He or she must have unbiased viewpoint in audit report, audit test, and evaluation of results, so that the audit report is credible. There are two criteria for auditor to be seen as independence. One, independence of mind, and then two, independence in appearance. Okay, first, independence of mind. This is a state of mind that is not affected by any influence that compromise the professional judgment. This state of mind allows an individual to act with integrity, exercise objectivity, and professional skepticism. And then, as I said before, the second one is independence in appearance. Basically, this is a interpretation of uses of financial statements of the auditor's independence. When an auditor have done their job with integrity, objectivity, and professional skepticism, the users of financial statement must see the independence of the auditor. That's basically it.
Audit Oversight Board. The Audit Oversight Board is AOB is established under the Part 3A of the Security Commission Act Malaysia 1993, which came into the force on 1 April 2010 to promote and develop an effective audit oversight framework and to promote the confidence in the quality and reliability of the audited financial statement in Malaysia. Why establish the AOB? A strong corporate governance framework requires monitoring the necessary assurance of the rigor of the audit process and the quality reliability of the audited financial statements, provide independent audit oversight over PIES, and to ensure our regulator framework for auditors is on par with the international standards.